G'day, I'm Keith,
Hi, I'm Joe.
and this is Travel Adventures with
Joe
and
and
Keith. So this is episode 2, and part 2 of our Alaskan cruise story.
Which the previous episode left off leaving the Hubbard Glacier.
Yeah, so for those who have come in late, check out the last episode. You don't have to stop this now and check out the last episode, but check it out after. You can watch the sequel before the prequel if you want. Mix it up. Live dangerously.
I was going to say that's like reading chapter 2 before you read chapter 1.
Yeah. But you can, it's all right because it's not like you need to know what happened before you hear what's happening here.
So this segment of the trip, we are heading to Juneau.
We have duck farts. What else do we do?
Celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary.
Oh, yeah, we did that too. So in the last episode, we were sailing away from the Hubbard Glacier. Yeah.
Yes.
And we're sailing towards Juneau.
Yes.
So the next day we're at Juneau. We got to Juneau early in the morning.
Which, for people who don't know, Juneau is the capital of Alaska, even though it's, I think it's only got about 30-odd thousand people.
Yeah, it's quite
right?
small,
35,000 people. There's a lot bigger cities in Alaska, like Anchorage, but Juneau's the capital.
Yeah, but I guess Canberra is the capital of Australia, and it's only little compared to Sydney and Melbourne.
Yes.
So we sailed into Juneau, and we actually there was a hive of activity with like seaplanes, wasn't there? A lot of seaplanes taking off and landing.
Yes.
The mountains. It was pretty. There was a little bit of fog around. Mountains, a bit of snow on top of the mountains, and we hopped off the ship. It was pretty easy process hopping off the ship too. I know we've been on cruises before where we've actually had to wait quite a long time to get off on the ship, get onto shore, but it was a pretty easy process.
And no long queues.
No, and that was the same with all our shore visits. We just went downstairs, hopped off, didn't have to wait in a line or anything.
So Juneau was probably the only real time we experienced fairly solid rain.
It rained
on our whole trip.
Yep.
Which we'd kind of expected that because we had read beforehand that there are some places, more Ketchikan I think, that have something like 200 odd days of rain a year. But Juneau had fairly solid rain on and off. And it was interesting because I actually felt quite cold in Juneau because I had a raincoat, but it was just a thin waterproof jacket. It didn't have any fleece lining or anything.
It's kind of hard to know what to bring with you, like what to wear, because there's times where you get quite hot from walking around, but then you get quite cold. It's really tricky to know, because you don't want to be carrying too much stuff around with you.
We definitely overpacked.
Yeah, but we definitely need I think I had a t-shirt and like a kind of thermalish kind of shirt over the top of it, and then a jacket over the top of that. And the jacket kind of came on and off throughout the course of the day, but yeah, like 3 layers of clothes. And another thing I did too is I had like an old pair of joggers shoes that I was planning to throw away because they were pretty old, and I thought, you know what, I'll wear them in Alaska because they're going to get wet and they're going to get stinky, and then I'll throw them away on the last day, which is what I did.
Yes, you're very good at packing things that you think you're going to throw away.
The disposable clothes. So that's one of my travel tips. is if you have clothes that you're planning on throwing away, you know, like undies that have got holes in them, socks, holes, shirts that you're planning on throwing, wait till your next holiday and wear them on the first day, then chuck them away.
Because you're going to buy stuff while you're away. That's the thing. We didn't count on how many garments we'd buy while we were on our cruise. We bought jumpers and T-shirts and socks and caps and, yep. So we ended up with a lot more clothing than we started with.
But getting back on track, so we hopped off the ship at Vancouver. It was quite early in the morning. Not Vancouver, I said Vancouver, didn't I? Juneau. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Do you know how many Juneau jokes I've heard? Do you know what's our wedding anniversary? Do you know Juneau is the capital of Alaska? Do you know it rains a lot in Juneau?
Do you know I was going to slip that joke in there?
Yes.
So what was a wedding anniversary? We hopped off. It was quite early, wasn't it? Mm. So nothing was open really, and there was this little souvenir shop that had a cafe in there. It was quite a decent coffee, you know, pretty good for like the standard of the coffee that we were getting on that trip. It was one of the better coffees. But it was kind of like the only place open really at that time in the morning because we had got off the ship pretty early.
We did actually meet someone from Juneau, didn't we? That there was a gentleman who came up to us in the cafe and was talking to us at the table.
That used to work on cruise ships.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, he worked for Carnival.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
He was talking to us all about cruise ships, and yeah, we had a coffee. Then we moved on. We walked up and down the street, and shops were just starting to open. A lot of like jewelry shops there, especially as you go up. I don't know if it's north or south. I don't know what direction it was, but one end of Juneau there were a lot of jewelry shops, and you know they're all trying to get your business.
There's a lot of shops that sell quite expensive diamonds and things like that. But they also, I noticed that there was often a case of when you're on the ship, you get like a newsletter that comes out the day before that advises what's going to happen the next day, and obviously the shops in the town you're visiting next advertise in this newsletter, and they will promote, if you come and visit our store, you get a free pair of earrings if you spend $10, for example. Or just come and visit our store and we'll give you like a free pendant. Did you notice that?
Yeah. But yeah, I've got no use for earrings.
No, but I brought some earrings back.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, quite a few jewellery shops, souvenir shops. There was one place we went to where you got your like T-shirt that changes colours and stuff.
Del Sol.
Yeah.
Del Sol. I actually ended up getting 2 shirts there. I really liked them because, in fact, I'm wearing one now.
So when it gets warm,
when you go out in ultraviolet light, so if you go out in sunlight, they go from being a black and white print to completely colour.
There you go.
Which is pretty spectacular.
And we're not sponsored, by the way, just so you know, just putting it out there when they're not paying us money or giving us free T-shirts or anything.
No, but they're my favourite shirts.
Give them a plug. And there was another place attached to that. What was that called?
Carolou. I don't know how you pronounce
Carolou
it.
Carolou. Yeah, and they had like bamboo garments. And I bought a T-shirt from there.
And that's his favourite shirt.
It is. It's like so comfortable, and I'm not sponsored by them either, just so you know. They're not giving me free shirts to give them a plug.
But he has worn that shirt nearly non-stop since we've come back.
Yeah, I wear it to the gym all the time.
I guess bamboo's a good fabric.
It is, yeah, yep. And then I think a couple of shops up from that was the Alaskan brewery shop, which wasn't the brewery, it was their souvenir shop.
Yeah, merchandise.
Yeah, we went in there and got fridge magnet. Because we're always on the lookout for a good fridge magnet. You should see our fridge. It's like chockers full of fridge magnets.
We're almost out of room on our fridge and freezer, actually, our upright double door fridge. But hey, we still have another 2 freezers and another fridge that we can put magnets on, so it's all good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
We can start on the beer fridge.
Yep, okay. So we got a magnet that had the Alaskan red ale. That was my favourite beer. And IPA, Alaska IPA magnet as well.
Did you buy shot glass from there, or was that...
No, that was the duck fart one. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yep, we haven't got to that yet. So moving further down the street, there's a there's a saloon, the Red Dog Saloon. So that's like kind of like an old Western style saloon, and to do it justice, you're gonna have to like subscribe to our YouTube channel, because there's going to be Red Dog Saloon videos on there. It's kind of like one of those old Western saloons, and everywhere you look there's like stuff, like just everywhere, just stuff. So we went in there and we had lunch. Actually, we had a beer first. The waitress person, she was very friendly, and we told her it was our wedding anniversary, and so she made she brought out a couple of duck farts. And
you can explain what a duck fart is if you like, because people aren't going to know.
A duck fart is like it's a shot. It's a layered shot. So you've got Crown Royal, which is a Canadian whiskey. You've got Bailey's and Kahlua, and it's in a shot glass. And if you've done it right, it's layered, so it kind of looks pretty spectacular.
And you have to throw it down in one gulp.
Yeah, yep. So they say, crack, crack, knock that shit back. And then you're not allowed to sip it, you have to knock it back.
So a few points I'll make about the Red Dog Saloon is it's extremely popular with tourists.
Yep.
And if you don't get in there early, you probably won't get a seat at a table. It was kind of interesting because, as Keith mentioned, it was Old West style, so the floor was covered in sawdust.
Yeah, yep.
So the only saloon I've been in, or pub I've been in, that has sawdust on the floor. And the waitresses were dressed up, I don't know how you describe it, kind of like bar wench kind of style, like the corsets and the white blouses and the skirts and everything. Tasteful, not tacky or anything, but that was the style. They were all super friendly. I think we had a burger from memory, because we got there early. No, we had a burger. We got there fairly early. I think we got there before 11 because we kind of realised it would be...
It's just as well we did, because it started to become really busy after that.
Absolutely. And there was a live music as well.
Yeah, there was some guy with a flat cap that was like playing piano and singing and stuff.
So it was a really good atmosphere. I seen videos about it before we went, and it didn't disappoint.
One of those kind of pubs that you can go there 100 times and see something different every time. Like just all the stuff on the walls and the ceiling and everything. But this saloon, it's got a revolver behind the bar. So the story is, White Earp checked in his revolver into the town, because back then some towns you had to check in your firearms when you came to town, then picked them up when you went. And then he didn't pick it up, and then left and went back to the mainland of America, the lower, what's it called, the lower
48.
Yeah, all the states that aren't Alaska, went back to that part of America and left his revolver behind, so it's there behind the bar at the Red Dog Saloon in Alaska.
The lower 48 is an interesting term, just on a side note, because I always knew there were 50 states in the USA, but they call the lower 40, like they don't count Alaska and they don't count Hawaii. So the 48 is the other states, cut from Alaska and Hawaii.
But Hawaii is still lower than Alaska.
Yes,
so
I know, but that's what the
understand
lower
that
48
term.
is classed as.
But Hawaii is lower.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but hey, that's what the lower 48 means.
All right. So I think we left the Red Dog Saloon. We went for another walk. A couple more souvenir shops. I went looking for another good coffee. It wasn't as good as the one I had that morning. That's all I'll say about that. But we did get into an interesting conversation with a local. We kind of like bump into locals and get into conversations.
You bump into locals at the local.
Yeah. And then, we had a bit of a conversation at the coffee shop. So that was, I guess, kind of worth it for a mediocre coffee, but the conversation made up for that.
Which chap was this?
The dude, I don't know. The bloke from Alaskan, from Juneau. Juneau.
I'm just trying to remember because we met so many locals.
We were sitting at the coffee shop and talking to. He was reading a book, and then we were having a conversation. Then he made a comment, and then we started talking.
Oh, okay. I know who you mean now. Oh, yes, I do know who you mean now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And then we found a local pub that was. I think it was supposed to be exclusively for locals, and like it kind of had this secret entrance, and the only way we could get in was because someone was walking out, and we like found the door and got in there. And I don't think we were meant to be in there. It was like an Irish pub called the Lucky Lady, but it was very, very discreet kind of entrance. I think they were trying to keep out the tourists, and we got in there.
They're still friendly though.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think they expected there to be tourists in there.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny how we snuck in, and you had a Guinness, didn't you?
I did, because we tend to go to an Irish pub wherever we go. If we see an Irish pub, we've got to go and check it out. So it was an Irish pub, and we were out the front. It's like, how do we get into this place? Because there wasn't a door in, but there was a door out, and someone was walking out. So
we snuck in.
We snuck in there.
It was like most Irish pubs. Irish pubs have this atmosphere where they're usually dark and, they're not very well lit. They're populated by people who just are very forthright, shall we say. They kind of don't pull their punches, the clientele. So we've been to a lot of really good Irish pubs.
It was definitely a local pub though. We were the only tourists there.
Yes. I kind of kept looking around thinking, are they going to kick us out? Because we're in this pub, and obviously tourists don't normally frequent there. But no, we had enjoyed it. I had a wine actually.
Door. You had a wine, I had a Guinness. As you do in an Irish pub.
Was that? No, that wasn't the bar where I got cask wine, was it? There was a bar we went.
That wasn't the one.
Okay.
All right. So we after that we did a bit more looking around town. I think we went up to another brewery, which was a bit further up the hill. Juneau's a very hilly town.
Yes.
We walked up a bit, found another brewery. Had like the beer wasn't as good as the Alaska brewery. Then we went back down, got back on the ship, went to dinner, had a special dinner, a wedding anniversary, sommelier, Mr. Peaceman, had selected a very nice bottle of champagne for us.
Which he put away for us the day before.
He did, yep. And it was, I think that was one of, like that really stands out because this special champagne that he picked out for us, but he also got, he got this little gift made for us. And it's kind of like on a drink coaster and it's got a champagne cork to make it look like a
table.
And it's got the wires from around the champagne cork, so it looks like two
chairs.
Yep. So it's very special.
And he wrote a personal message around the outside of the coaster.
Yep.
So that was just amazing that he went to all that trouble to give us this personal gift.
We kind of really nursed that all the way home through 1, 2, 3, 4 5 flights home. We kind of nursed that in carry-on baggage.
Which is another story because that was funny on one. We saw it go through the X-ray machine and obviously they didn't know what it was.
They gave it a second look. It kind of goes through and goes back again. But it got through, okay. And we're more worried about it getting broken, which is why we didn't put in our checked baggage.
It made it home in one piece.
Yeah. But it was a special gift. It's obviously something you don't just pick up in a souvenir shop or something. It's quite nice. So Peace Man popped the champagne for us. And
he's an expert champagne popper.
Yeah, didn't even make a noise.
He can pop a cork out of a champagne bottle and it doesn't make a sound at all. Not the explosive sound, it doesn't hit the roof or anything. I was quite impressed with that.
Yeah. So apparently I don't pop champagne corks well enough now.
I'm one of those people who freaks out when I hear a car backfiring or a balloon bursting and things like that. So
I have to warn Joe when I'm about to pop the champagne cork.
I put my fingers in my ears.
So we had the champagne, had dinner, had a great dinner. They brought us out a special dessert.
Yes.
And sang happy anniversary to us, all the waiters and waitresses. And
one of the waiters came over and filmed our anniversary, which was quite funny.
Yeah.
A little short video.
Yep. So it was quite a special night, and the ship left Juneau. I don't know if there were any pier runners that time because we were too busy having champagne and anniversary dessert.
I think we were very full after that dinner. It was a very
good dinner.
It was a very good dinner.
Very good dinner, very good day. And from there we set sail to our next destination the next day, which is Ketchikan. And we the next day the ship sailed into Ketchikan, and it actually rained quite a bit. I thought it was going to be a horrible day at Ketchikan because as we were coming in there, it rained and rained and rained. But it was perfect weather when we got there.
It only had a couple of light drizzly showers once we got there, and I was surprised too because I think I might have mentioned previously in the earlier podcast that Ketchikan is known for having rain more than 200 days a year.
Yeah. So
it was a good day.
Sailing into Ketchikan, the scenery was pretty amazing coming into Ketchikan. There's all these little islands and stuff. And then the airport there, which is an international airport, is on its own separate island. So the whole, just sailing in there, it's a pretty amazing kind of scenery experience. And then we got into Ketchikan. There were 2 other ships in there, I think. And the driver of the ship, what they call them, the captain, whatever, the driver. I'm
captain.
thinking these ships are pretty close, but like the driver did a pretty amazing job, like with his parallel parking there.
It's really funny with this trip. Sorry, I'm digressing here, but we're so used to other international travel, and there's a lot of pilots who get on board ships, and there's a lot of tugboats that actually have to manoeuvre ships into the harbour because the ports are quite small. We didn't really notice that so much this trip because the ports are so big. I don't think they really needed a lot of pilot guidance, or there were still pilots. And tugboats, we didn't see as many tugboats.
There were. I remember they did say they were bringing pilots on board, but yeah, I didn't see any like pilot boats pull up.
No.
And so when we docked at Ketchikan, there was a lot of seaplane activity. Like these seaplanes were just landing and taking off. I think I must have taken 1,000 photos of seaplanes.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so you'll have to watch the seaplane episode of our YouTube channel.
It was quite spectacular, actually, watching all the planes take off and land.
Yeah, yep. I think I sat out there for ages just with the long lens on the camera, just taking pictures of seaplanes.
And it was a pretty place, Ketchikan.
Yeah, so we hopped off at Ketchikan, and the rain stopped. I thought it was going to be a horrible day, raining all the time, because there was so much rain as we were sailing in that morning, but it just stopped.
And I ended up buying, I think one of the first things I bought was actually a rain jacket that was fleece lined. Because after the experience in Juneau where I was freezing, because I had like the thin raincoat, I was like, no, I need a jacket that is actually not just waterproof but has warmth in it as well. Because I don't know whether any of you other women understand this, but when you're wearing like a fleece hoodie trying to put a raincoat over the top, you just feel like, I don't know, the abominable snowman because you're so bulky. So I ended up buying this jacket at one of the first shops we went to. It wasn't very expensive, but it's my favourite
And it's
raincoat.
going to get a lot of use in Port Macquarie.
No, but it's going to get a lot of use when we go overseas,
All right.
especially to
okay.
cold places.
Cold places.
Although our next 2 trips aren't cold.
So a bit of souvenir shopping. We walked up the street to kind of the end of, I guess, the CBD, if you want to call it that. And then we doubled back, and there was a bar called, what was the bar called? I have to look that up. We got a fridge magnet for it. It'd be on the fridge there. So the bar was called, we just checked the fridge magnet, the bar was called the Arctic Bar, and it had an interesting kind of sign at the front, because there were 2 bears in like kind of a compromising position. So anyway, the Arctic Bear, we went in there to the Arctic Bear.
Arctic Bar.
Arctic Bar. Went in there and had a couple of beers, had a chat with a local who was a tugboat driver. Was he a tugboat driver?
Yes, he was, but I don't know whether driver's the right term. We talked about that earlier.
He drives a tugboat. He's a driver. He drives a tugboat.
Pilot?
Yeah, had a chat with the local tugboat driver. Had a chat with a bloke that had a parrot on his shoulder.
Yes.
Bought a fridge magnet. Had to go and get some American cash out of the ATM because the fridge magnet shop didn't take FPOS, so had to go and get American cash. Yeah, that was a good experience. A couple of beers. We had a duck fart there too. And it actually briefly rained while we were there. That was the only time it rained in Ketchikan
Yes.
while we were there.
Ketchikan was a place that had the colourful sort of buildings, wasn't it? Like it had there were houses and everything that were
Houses going
painted
up the
bright
hill,
colours.
all
Yes.
bright colours, yeah. And so you've got this big kind of wharf area where there's multiple cruise ships parked along. Am I allowed to say parked for cruise ships?
Moored.
They were parked.
Moored.
There were multiple cruise ships. So it's quite I guess coming from Australia, doing cruises around Australia and New Zealand, there's usually only one cruise ship in town in any place where you go. So it's weird having multiple ships.
And it's interesting too, saying that, like on our whole cruise, we often saw other ships either in the distance, like cruise ships, or close to us. Like every time we went to view some sort of scenery, there were like another one or two cruise ships there. So it definitely was cruise ship heaven, I guess.
I got lots of photos of other ships.
Yes, but none of ours.
Not a full length one of ours. I was never like in a position where I could get a full length photo of our ship. So what else do we do in Ketchikan? Oh, that's where I found good coffee. Probably the best coffee I had that whole holiday. And there was like a little cafe. I walked past a few cafes and looked inside and thought, yeah, nah. And then I found this one. And we went in there and got a decent coffee. And then it was so good we actually bought some coffee beans.
What was that cafe called?
The Alaskan Coffee Company.
Yes.
Yeah, and I didn't want to buy too many a big bag because I wasn't sure if I could get them through customs.
And what was that blend called that you got?
It was called the 3-Pecked Billy Goat.
Yes. And
yeah.
I missed that coffee because we've used it all, and it was a really good coffee.
Yep. The 3-Pecked Billy Goat from Ketchikan in Alaska. And we got a couple of fridge magnets from there too. The Alaska Coffee Company to add to our fridge magnet collection.
Yes, and that was probably one of the highlights of the trip as well, this particular coffee shop. Very impressed with the service, very impressed with the young couple who were behind the counter.
It was probably the best coffee that I'd had that whole holiday.
Yes, and they were super friendly.
Yeah, we kind of got into a conversation about how difficult it was to find a decent coffee. And yeah, there were.
American coffee is obviously completely different to Australian coffee.
Yeah, I guess like if you've grown up with American coffee,
you'd come to Australia and go, what is this stuff?
Yeah. So I guess each to their own, but yeah, the coffee that we're used to, we did find it difficult to find a decent coffee, but there were good coffees, and this place was definitely good coffee.
I think espresso culture is growing over in America and Canada. Like a lot of places, it's just been slower to take off than what it is in Australia.
Well, I think a lot of places we went to, like when you say coffee, they pour out that filtered coffee too, which, isn't what we have really here in Australia. So
it's like airline coffee.
Yeah, but I guess if that's the coffee you like, then who are we to say it's bad coffee? It's just coffee we don't.
Yeah, it's just different
like.
to us. Yes.
So what else did we do on Ketchikan? We
walked around,
a couple more souvenir shops. Then we went to another pub, and that's when you got your weird cask wine.
Oh, is that where that was?
Yeah,
I
because
knew.
they were definitely like a beer pub, and then you ask for wine and they look at you like really strange.
They pulled a red wine cask out from under the carrot, and I went, oh my gosh, because I was over beer by that point. I just wanted a wine. Not two wine, I wanted a wine. They pulled the red wine cask out from under the carrot. I went, okay, whatever, yes, okay. And you know what? It wasn't horrible. But that did actually make me laugh.
We actually I had some, because I had to get that American cash out. I had to go on, because this was our last stop in the US, so I had to like spend the rest of the cash. That's the issue with getting cash is that you have to try and spend that exact amount of cash before you leave that country. So we got a couple more souvenirs and stuff. We got an ulu knife. So an ulu knife is this like Alaskan kind of, it looks a bit like one of those pizza cutters that kind of a curved blade pizza cutter.
Yeah, a rocking blade, but a lot
yeah.
smaller.
And I've used that a lot at home, just chopping up veggies and stuff. It's great.
Yeah,
it's
and
great.
just for reference, an ulu knife is spelled ULU.
Yeah, I've used that. I've even cut meat up with it and everything.
It's as sharp as.
It's great. I love it. So we got our ulu knife.
We bought another ulu knife for our friends.
Yep. And then we got back on ship. And in hindsight, we probably should have got more ulu knives, because we could have been the ulu knife supplier in Australia.
We put that in our check baggage, didn't we? Because imagine trying to bring that back through in your
Yeah.
carry-on.
Yep. So yeah, ulu knives. They should become the Australian distributor for ulu knives. Ulu knife. If you're out there, if you're looking for someone to sponsor, check out us. I love ulu knives.
I think one of the key points I took away from this trip, logistically wise, was what you put in your check baggage and what you put in your carry-on. Because we were always very pedantic about declaring what we would bring back into the different countries we went to, in terms of food products and everything. Because we bought chocolate as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was that in Ketchikan?
Yeah, probably everywhere. We bought chocolate everywhere. Joe bought chocolate everywhere.
Oh, I bought chocolate everywhere. This is the chocoholic. My husband is a chocoholic. But yes, like we're very pedantic about declaring everything we brought back. But we actually learned a few valuable lessons in terms of what you put in your carry-on and what you put in your check baggage.
So we come unstuck a bit. When we were in Isis Strait Point, I mentioned in the last episode, I bought a tin of salmon, and because I had it in my check baggage, it got taken off us in Auckland because it had too much liquid in it. But if I had it in my...
No, you put it in...
I put it in my carry-on baggage.
Yes. Yep.
It got taken off because it had too much liquid. But if I put it in my check baggage, it would have been fine. So, yeah, we kind of learned a couple of lessons of what to put in your carry-on baggage, what to put in your check baggage.
And every country is completely different, so it really does pay to research what the requirements are.
Well, the liquid thing, like the liquid, like as the air, it's not a customs thing. It would have been fine with customs. It was the fact that it was in carry-on baggage and it had liquid in it. That was the issue. It wasn't the issue that it was salmon or, a meat product or whatever. It's just that it had liquid in it. So if it was in checked baggage, it would have been fine. But going back to Ketchikan, so we've done our shopping, all the stuff in Ketchikan. We've got back on the ship, and then we've got 2 more days of sailing till we get back to Vancouver. So we checked out. I can't remember which nights we went to what, but there were some really good shows on the ship.
We saw a rock and roll.
Yeah, there was
Show?
a rock and roll show. Really good.
It was amazing.
I think like the entertainment on that ship was like
Top notch.
top. Yeah, it was great. There was also a Broadway kind of show
Yes.
one of the nights.
There was a Broadway musical show as well. And normally, look, I like musicals, but I thought that was extremely well done. The performers were very talented. It was probably the best entertainment I think we've ever seen.
The rock and roll show was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was amazing. They kind of went through the history of rock and roll and had some like
So sort of from the 50s brought through.
Yeah. That was great. The entertainment was great. We did a few trivia shows.
Learned how dumb we actually are.
No, we're not dumb. Like we got a few right.
Well, we'd get around 16 out of 20, but there were people who were getting 20 out of 20, and we're kind of like, how are you getting 20 out of 20?
No, we did all right. There was a couple of sketchy questions anyway.
Yes.
Like one of the questions was, how much is a pack of Tim Tams? And apparently the price was like $8. It's like where are you?
Where are you buying the Tim
where are you
Tams
getting
from?
the Tim Tams? So this girl that worked on the ship got her Tim Tams from some souvenir shop in Sydney. So,
Or from Sydney Airport.
yeah. so obviously the price that it wasn't
But the trivia was fun. Like,
Trivia was good. Yep, did
Yeah.
a few trivia things.
and we do trivia at home. We love trivia. It's always good to learn different facts and things like that. But yeah, the trivia on cruise ships is a lot of fun. But there always seems to be someone who manages to get 20 out of 20 or 25 out of 25. And we're like, we don't understand.
That's with any trivia. You know, if we go down to the local club here, and then there's someone that gets them all right, so we think we're doing all right, then someone's like blitzing it. So, yeah. So, yeah, we did. I went to a few shows on the ship. Did some trivia.
So a lot of live music as well.
Yep. Our last night, we were in the restaurant, and we were lucky in the restaurant because we had a table right beside the porthole. And the last night there were these dolphins jumping up and down outside our window. The last day I think we saw, because we come back through those islands again, saw a bit of wildlife, a few eagles and things.
Yeah, saw a bald eagle a couple of times.
Yeah. So we so we spent the last morning of the cruise. We hopped up and saw, like, we were just as we were going under the Lionsgate Bridge again, which is how we started the cruise, going under the Lionsgate Bridge at Vancouver, back under the Lionsgate Bridge. I think one of the big things I took out of, one of the big things that kind of threw me was the length of the days, because it's summer up there in Alaska at the moment, or when we were up there, it's summer, and the days were just so long. It was like 10 p.m. when the sun was going down.
Yes, and I mean, add that to the jet lag that we already had because we'd travelled so far. It's kind of like you didn't really know which way was up in terms of the time.
And because the hours, like you think of the time difference back home, so it was a bit confusing. The days were like very long. It would be 10 p.m. and you'd think it's only like 5 p.m. or something like that because the sun's still up. Yeah, so the cruise finished coming under the Lionsgate Bridge, And we docked back at Canada Place, back in Canada. We had a bit of a kind of a faux pas with the customs form because someone wasn't wearing his glasses and ticked the wrong box, but that kind of declaring certain things that we didn't have, but like that we sorted that out. That kind of got laughed off as we were going in there. So yeah, tip for young players: make sure you have your glasses on and read those customs declaration forms properly. Having
said that, every security official and every customs agent we met on our trip were lovely. I have heard people say that they have had so many issues. We never had any dramas at all. Even ticking the wrong box on a form, they just basically laughed and went, "Yes, we trust you. It's okay. Just go on through." So maybe we look trustworthy. I don't know.
Maybe, yep. So that was the end of our adventure on the carnival.
No, it wasn't the carnival. What? Celebrity Solstice.
Why did I say carnival? Celebrity Solstice. To up the Alaska Inside Passage. But that wasn't the end of our holiday, because from Vancouver, we were off to Calgary for a few days. But that's a story for another episode.
I was going to say another story, yes.
Another story, yep. Do you have anything to say before we finish?
No, I was going to say, we haven't lost you now. We join in for the next episode and...
Thanks for listening.
See what we get up to next time.
Hit the like button, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. Joe's pulling faces at me.
And I'll pull faces at you.
We'll talk to you next time. Bye.